Greetings, everyone. This is Joanna from Universal Love, Light, Wisdom, and Heavenly Radiance, and everything else that we offer. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Today, we're going to talk about some really incredible energies that are, allowing us to feel truly shifted, truly expansive in new ways. And I've been just kind of sitting within this beautiful transformation that I've been going through, and just kind of feeling into the allowance of what I'm moving through. And again, oftentimes I don't have words for what what's occurring. There is a part of me absolutely that knows, and I give myself, the higher aspects of me and my soul, give myself words that I know where to go to for those words, and how to feel into that mind logical understanding, because that's they just know how I find my information to assist myself in what I'm moving through, so that the mind, the lower mind, can kind of relax and just allow things to happen. And that's just a normal part of this integration process that through ascension, where when you feel things and you experience things that are brand new, that you've never experienced before, that are allowing you to kind of live as we've talked about before, the soul itself. And what I've been experiencing is, more of that soul experience, that it feels more heavenly experience, as if that soul is, and it is, but more sewn with source creator, that source creator, liquid, fluid, beautiful essence, that source. And the interesting, I'm still having a hard time to put it into words, but I wanted to bring it forward because what I was processing this morning was, how do we, moving through this process of an experience that we've never moved through before, how do we release so much of the confinements that the mind has kept us in, to understand what's going on, to put words to the experience, to define the experience, and how does that hold us back in the beautiful surrender that is the soul living through us? And do we need to? Can we just relax into it and just allow everything to unfold? And of course, that's my higher self and my teams saying, yeah, just relax into it. It's all good. But what I've been moving through, kind of personally, and kind of shifting my way into these new energies, and preparing myself for, more of an expansive role, for the collective, so that I can help on an expanded perspective, is understanding what I've been moving through, and how the changes and the transitions that each person moves through in relationships and families and dynamics, where everyone's operating at a varied potential of vibration. And what's come to me, and what I've been experiencing and moving with, is being that open vessel of love, and that open vessel of fluid allowance, being that now exploration that creates new potential timelines and new worlds, and healing all timelines, and truly allowing that now vibration, that now allowance, that now releasing logic, having to figure it out, that center point that we've always talked about, that center point of releasing what was and stepping into what is, within those structures that were constantly working the energy. And that's what I felt, when there's transitions, and there's things occurring, if you will, within relationships, and within families, and within all of these socioeconomic structures. Humanity's getting ready to move into these new paradigms. And this is what I've been feeling at the individual level, the family collective, the collective, and then the global. But that's what's happening on the micro macro experience, is that there's this kind of shifting that is this always infinite, this infinity movement, and it's working the energy. And so what I've been experiencing is that the process of, ascension, and the process of, all of these things that we've been experiencing. And again, there's no one way. We've talked about self-care just because of the massive amount of imbalances that our collective holds, that so many of us hold because of how we have repressed the emotional body, how we have suppressed the emotional body, and all of the socioeconomic systems that we're here to deconstruct from subjugation and limitation. But this flowing of working the energy can occur in every moment that we're moving through life without us even knowing it. And I was brought to this attention because it really does help assist in awakening, allowing, and holding the platform for those that are moving on their path in different vibrations and different forms. And the micro macro vision that I was given was that source in these beautiful moments that I've been moving through, dark night of the soul, releasing the densities, releasing energies cellularly, multidimensionally from, varying stages of my experience, so that my body is ever preparing itself for greater light, for greater union. And so that working the energy source, and my teams in the highest of councils are constantly massaging the unconditional, loving, compassionate, forgiving field that they're holding space for all of us, that they're constantly working the energy. There being that micro macro experience. But I actually felt it firsthand as I was, moving through an experience where there was a great transition that I was feeling and experiencing. And in my head, logically, I was seeing and perceiving it from a very limited perspective about the variations of how something could change and transform by me simply allowing and opening up and working the energy. Just constantly working the energy in not a directive, not a direct intentional way, but just being that open portal that source is living through us. And if we allow ourselves to know that the infinite is available to us, and this is what, I got a hair on my lip. The infinite is a potential for us for things like spontaneous healing. Those of us that are energy workers and healers, this is why I was feeling it, is this movement of the soul that's living through you is constantly working the energies if you allow it. And you can feel source creator come through, and your soul come through, and the Christ consciousness come through. You're working as the whole soul of you. So it's an entire embodiment of love that is source massaging and working the energies to bring them up to that platform of potentiality that their individual unique soul can take on however they want. But it was my mind, that lower mind, that was saying that what I had done last week is I had created a video about the transitions that families and people go through from 3D to 5D, and how many of us on the, kind of the front line architectures of new systems and templates of light, crystalline children, and the things that we've talked about before, are going to be moving in new directions, which then changes the look, the structure, if you will, and the templates of what was. And that can cause great challenge for all of those in that circle. So I had created this video, and at the end of it, I ended up deleting it because I was moving through this very fluid epiphany of working the energy and letting go of what my lower mind thought was that one perspective on potentiality, when it's absolutely not. There's infinite potentials. But in my mind, I was perceiving it that, well, if this is my unique individual, desire and really true excitement to move in this way, does that not affect, those that are in my intimate circle? And how does that unfold? And that's been the concern and the energies that I've been moving. When to release and let go. How do I honor the paths of everyone, and especially honor my own soul's path, knowing that how I move about in my unique expression and excitement will allow for all those that I'm threaded with to also experience that as well. But I had a very limited experience, perspective on what that looked like. It was the lower mind thinking that, well, and there's an infinite number of experiences that take place, because there are those that are on their path that are, can choose for their soul's experience to move in whatever direction they want. So allowing ourselves in this unique, expansive, fluid massaging of the energy, working the energy, our role as light workers, as awakened ones, as, those that are on the mavericks of the light, clearing the way for all the others, is that we are, as source creator and the heavens and the councils and the infinite number of celestial teams that are assisting us, constantly massaging the energy and working it. And to get out of our heads, if you will, on how it, because what my logical mind was purviewing is how will it unfold, making sure, kind of as a mother, everybody's going to be in their place and everything's going to be okay, blah, blah, blah. But that, again, as I've often offered, it's not for any of us to kind of dictate and control how things unfold, but simply offer our best and open and massage the energy of pure or unconditional love, of enlightenment, of inspiration and empowerment and encouragement, forgiveness, that soul has everything that it needs to choose however it moves with source creator in an infinite number of potentials, that in working that massage energy, as opposed to choosing and perceiving or deciding that because their energies are appearing to be in different places, if you will, vibrationally. And sometimes that might be the case, because that person might just choose to kind of walk away and do their thing, and that's okay too. But what I'm getting at is that there's a very fluid, alchemic, unconditional experience that is moving. And I've written about it as the undercurrent of source, and I felt it. I was feeling that it's constant massaging the energy. And I can feel like when I go to bed at night and when I wake up in the morning, I'm a completely different person, because the things that I held in my body and my vessel and my mind and my fields at night is completely gone in the morning. And I wake up on a brand new timeline. And there's been times where I've been speaking to someone and I can feel the timeline shifting as I'm talking with them. So it's felt at that alchemic fluid frequency. If you surrender into, call the higher self and the soul forward, call Mother, Father, Source, Creator, the universe of the omnipresence forward to live through you. And you can feel this fluid, movement of the massaging of the energies. You can feel the angels, pressing the healing light energies to heal a situation that, had friction in it from, 100 timelines, but prior to me feeling and experiencing this, my lower mind had said that, this relationship, perhaps, the logical mind goes through this relationship can't continue because there's just so much dissonance. There's so much irritation. There's so much friction. However the lower mind describes and defines these experiences in familial, work relationships, partner relationships, it doesn't matter how we define it, the words that we use. But what I was experiencing is that our roles, especially for those of us that are going through transitions, where we're knowing, we're sensing that these changes are coming, these shifts are coming, your teams have been preparing you, your soul has been preparing you, there's shifts coming, you're going to be moved into different arenas, your light's needed over here, there's new light programs over here, you're here to create this light program here. There's so much elegance in these programs of light that are moving, and every soul that you're connected and sown with understands that at the soul level. Then they might and obviously don't know it at the physical mind level, just like my mind was only seeing this potential to work out in one or two ways. But I was shown that just as source, that micro macro is constantly massaging the all that is. It's an ongoing, constant massage of unconditional love, that we are now being able to, if we so desire, to step up into this, as we've talked about before, this beautiful open vessel of unconditional love, and be this constant massaging the energy of all those that we come in contact with, massaging the energy, transmuting the density, transmuting our limited perspectives of what we think might unfold and not unfold, and limiting our potentiality in every way, as well as limiting the potentiality of those we're entangling with. Because our lower mind thinks that, well, that's not socially defined in that way. Our roles are defined in ways that we must look and we must live in this way. Like the definitions of a mother, structures of, our responsibilities financially. How does that look, and how can we step out of that? So these are all things that the massaging and working of the energy will allow so many people. Like as soon as I recognized massaging the energy, allowing and working the energy. And I say working not as if it's, you're sitting there building a table. That's not what it means. It means allowing yourself to know that you are the open vessel to allow Source Creator to massage whatever discordance and dissonance is in that field. And that, therefore, allows that unconditional, unlimited potentiality for anything to unfold, you and them. And I was feeling it as that occurrence was going on. It was quite amazing. And it made me relax. I was just like, oh, because there's, as I'm understanding, these really big, huge changes are coming up for me, really life-changing experiences that will be, floating through my life. And this is where they were showing me everything is designed and elegantly moving. If we're trusting the synchronicity, if we're trusting where our hearts are guiding us, we're trusting where that soul is allowing us to be pulled and pulled and pushed, in a gentle massage and elegance, then we understand that we are these beautiful, elegant, light beings that are just kind of moving with Source, working the energy, massaging the energy. And we're changing the grids, we're changing every space that we walk within. And I've taught that as I'm working with the fields, and I can feel it. I can feel and I can sense what's going on in the fields if I place intention into the fields and I'm clearing the space, or I'm setting that space vibrationally, because I can feel all the teams here assisting and helping as well as activating the God breath within the field. So it allowed me to just really sit back, and I wanted to bring it forward because, part of me going through my experiences at many different levels and be able to feel and sense it at many different levels so that I can offer whatever I've gone through and hopefully have those experiences assist others that are moving through similar experiences where they're moving through so much stress and predisposition and judgment about how anything is going to shift and change, when they feel within their soul they're meant to move on, they're meant to do something different, they're meant to change in a big way, or they're meant to step forward into their soul's calling in a different way. And so what this was showing me was that in my particular family experience is that being called into another arena, being called into somewhere different, when there's others that are moving in their unique experience, respecting and honoring the paths of all, respecting and honoring their timing of their paths, but to understand that there will be these massaging and working of energies that if we are allowing and open and trusting in the design and the elegance of creation and all of the teams working on everyone's behalf, that in that open massaging and just allowing that unconditional Source love to be present and massage through us, because I can absolutely feel when you're allowing your soul to live through you, I can feel it. Then the potentials of any unfolding shifts and changes with potentials and possibilities that are beyond what we can even imagine. And so in this lower logical mind, if you will, that the schedules and the structure would look the same, because that's what we've always looked at from a 3D perspective. But I'm at this point saying, okay, well, how can our family structure and definitions, when people are going through all of these transitions, especially the role of what motherhood and fatherhood look like, and how their souls are aching for them to creatively explore and creatively expand, how can we change and shift and massage and work the energy so that this family and community and collective and global experience, just as if we're going, many places are opening up and getting back to work, massaging the energy so that we can allow Source to live through us at this collective level and allow all of these unfoldings and new templates to be this co-creation of Source living through each and every one of us, massaging the energy. So instead of that family perspective being that, the mom and dad stay home or they go and earn the money, and the mom and dad come home, and the mom and dad, the children go to school at 9 to 5, and these are the schedules that we've lived with forever. And the mom and the mom and the dad and the dad, and how these definitions and roles have taken place. But now that we've been home, and there's so many more people working from home now, and that idea of work and going to work are changing and shifting. Going to school is now changing and shifting, and that's working and massaging the energy on many different levels, because it's a multidimensional experience. There's an elegant design for us to truly reflect within on the value systems that we hold. How can we massage? How can we work the energy so that it's true to who we are as a soul? And that's exactly what I was feeling as a soul, knowing that this is a big life transition that I've been blessed with to reflect upon during this global collective experience. And how can I take it so that I can work and massage the energy so that what my mind and logical mind thought that might be the outcome of my transitions, and have it totally open up and not be anything like what I thought, and be 10 times more special and sacred. But that's the openness, letting go again of what the logical mind, the lower mind, thinks how something should look and feel. Because as you open and live as the soul, you can feel this quantum vibrational entanglement of movement and living, and threading with these synchronistic moments where, you know, you're bumping into soul tribe most divinely and synchronistically, because your teams and their teams are talking at that soul level, and you can feel these threads crisscross, you know, and you just magically bump into someone, or you get a text from someone, or whatever these experiences that are threading within this quantum allowance of potential, taking on a whole new threading. And this is where we're talking about from the micro macro on the collective level, that so many people at the individual level are opening up to massaging and working the energy, regardless of where we think or judge or perceive any one person to be at, because we're releasing those limitations. And just working the energy, just open up into unconditional flow and love to say, well, let's all have a really big creative talk. How can our lives look now? Just work the energy. Well, does anybody have any ideas? How can we do what we all want to do creatively and exploratorily? And how can we be excited about who we are as souls and truly start working this energy into these new templates? And the whole teams and the angels and everybody's, and of course, all of these inspirations and inventiveness are coming to those that are here to create those systems as well. But it turns out much differently, and the result is a lot different if your mind is going into it that's saying, you know, this is what I'm being drawn to, this is my decision, and closing the door on it. And so this is why the teams and, you know, the heavenly councils are all saying everybody's coming along for the ride. But are we open and working the energy in every situation? And we say working in only the way that there's things going on as you open and allow source to live through you. That's all we mean by working, because I can feel it, and that's what it felt like. They were working through me. The fields were working to open up these potentials that in my mind I had closed down, because if that's the lower mind cannot have any possibilities for all of these timelines that we're co-creating for the highest and for the best. It's important that we allow our choices and our soul's voice to be heard, so that those synchronicities and those intentions of excitement and those intentions of creative exploration truly drive those new templates. And then let it go and just be that open vessel of working the energy. You know, stay in that vibration. My cat's going crazy outside. She's all excited. Yay, change. And how can we get excited about working the energy and change? And these exciting new beginnings that how can we work from what we thought might be and limiting ourselves on the outcome, you know, especially when there's people going through many transitions, whether it's relationship transitions and changes, you know, work changes, vocation changes, your soul is changing, everything is changing and shifting. You know, for many light workers, what you thought your skills and gifts are, there is now the new galactic potentiality and these new missions and these new soul programs opening up, because timelines are changing every minute because of our consciousness. So what you think is your skill and your gift and your what you've been doing for the last 5 years is totally going to open up and change and be something you totally thought you'd never be. Because we're entering into these 5D templates and the needs are different. So in these familial individual experiences, allow yourself to totally open up and have source and your soul live through you and just work the energy. Just say, and open it in an open conversation. My soul is really allowing me to come forward in my meditations, and I think I'm really excited about working with music, and I'm really drawn to explore this and this and this. Now, how can we all open up into these energies, and where is everybody sitting? Where's everybody at? And it might come up with, well, why don't we just travel and do school, and just perhaps travel, we can do school online now. There's so many online schools and educational programs. How can we think of school and education in a different way and be excited like the little kitty outside? And have everybody open up into their, well, what does that look like? What are you excited to do? And maybe there might be one person that wants to allow themselves to experience, life in a certain way that wants them to be stationary and them to stay in a certain arena and area. And that's okay too. So let's come up with a creative solution so that we all get to harmonize, and we all get to massage the energy, and we all get to massage and too funny. How can we all, just allow that just open vessel of, infinite light to allow whatever unfold to unfold? Because what we often forget is the people that we've come with, and the teams that we've come with, and the beings that we've come with on a family level, if you will, the blood family level, oftentimes teach us the grandest lessons so that our souls can expand and learn at a vibrational level and shift and change. And because we've held such deep and steeped definitions and beliefs about family, what family looks like and how it looks like, again, suppressing it, there's innate fears, and there's innate trepidation when change occurs. And so over the years, we've been stretching what we feel the role of family looks like. Family is each and every one of us, and each and every one of us are now allowing these energies to be massaged, regardless of what level, because we're all ascending. Everybody's going along for the ride. Different rates, different levels, different soul themes, different soul plans, and that's meant to occur. But if we're closed down to think that it should only look a certain way and it only has a certain outcome, then that's truly limiting 80-90% of what the potential is truly able to occur. And how could it be more? Because again, they're showing me if I can explain this in a way that will make sense. I'm not sure that it will, but I'm going to try. What I was seeing is that there was a version of me on another timeline that was already in a future potential, but I had come back to resolve this one issue at a soul level so that this one issue can be healed and closed, if you will, at a karmic level. And so, but that part of me that was over here at this future potential, if you will, and again, it's all now, so I don't want to put it on a timeline because it's not. That part of me was saying that if you open up into the most unconditional loving state that you can, you are going to unfold maybe 10 or 12 more potential timelines that you can explore as all your gifts open up, because you have held that fear, if you will, to only have it work out a certain way so that you are, you're held safe and you're held secure. But if you let go of those fears and say, this is my soul's true desire, speaking your truth, owning your soul's desire, changing that timeline potential, you're not only healing those timelines, but you're opening up over here. Because humanity's never been in this position to create timelines of fifth dimensional perspective. I guess if all now we do really do, but here is where we are. So I saw myself, because what I had for my soul's experience, because of what I was able to feel and tap into, I was limiting how that experience could be healed through being unconditional in my loving offering, but still holding my my assertiveness on my soul's desire and my soul's experience, and not be subjugated into roles that no longer fit for me anymore. So it was an elegant, dance. It was a huge balancing experience for me. It was multidimensionally profound beyond words. And I'm still integrating and processing, you know, but now that I'm stepping back and taking a look at it, I'm seeing it from that micro macro perspective, and how we each are, if we so desire, those that are moving through these huge life transitions, either changing their jobs, quitting their jobs, changing relationships. They're seeing what doesn't work, what's toxic, what's not toxic, seeing what's serving them, what's not serving them. There's so many people that are going through these huge transitions, but are we opening in the most unconditional perspective, claiming and honoring our power, claiming and honoring our truth, so that we're maintaining that beautiful balance that is that equilibrium of male and female, massaging the energy, and opening into that unconditional God potentiality, that anything can happen in the most highest, benevolent, loving way, instead of going into it with, well, this is my decision, so be it, kind of thing, which is what many of the discussions in my head that I had, because there was many parts of me that didn't, because of the fear, I couldn't see what would happen. I couldn't see the outcome. I couldn't see the result. That my fear was just saying, okay, well, this is just my decision, and so be it. But I was limiting everyone's potentiality in that way. And that there was no healing occurring in that response. And we've all felt it, because we can't see what's going to occur and is it going to serve everybody, especially if you're a mom or a parent. When you have that need and that desire, innately, within that DNA to make sure and guard and be guardian of all those that you serve, whether they're blood family or not. And so it was just a profound experience, and I wanted to bring it forward, and I'll probably be more eloquent and more, be able to, explain and experience it in a new and different way as I'm moving forward, and just allowing Source to live through me as this open vessel. I'm still working. I'm still being vulnerable in what I'm offering myself to be, because normally I've been able to feel so much and sense so much that I've been quite, quite delicate, if you will, about, who I allow in my circle, but now, because I've been they've been preparing me, and you can see that I'm having trouble with my words, because I'm going back. I saw myself on that other dimension that was showing myself that I can open and be unconditional and allow the healing to take place and just work the energy, which is what I'm here to do. Be that open conduit of unconditional Christic love, and be that massaging of the energy, holding that space, just as Father, Mother, and that micro, macro. And so this is these stages of developmental ascension, expansiveness, move as you become that soul self. You're living as your higher self. That higher self is saying, you have nothing to fear. You don't need to protect yourself. You don't need to guard yourself anymore. Release all your defenses. You're going to be okay. Because there's all those persecutory, experiences that I remember. There's the energies that those come with that I can see and I can feel and I can sense that sometimes aren't comfortable. But I've been in this training experience, if you will, so that I can slowly get used to the multidimensionality of just massaging the energy and being that strong lighted temple and pillar of light, so that I'm not wavering in standing with Source, standing as Source, to assist in massaging and working the energy, to lay the templates, to lay the new programs, to assist in that, and to allow this beautiful, loving, unconditional energy to be offered to everyone. And this is what light workers and those that are, will be assisting in healing, will be assisting those in understanding ascension, will be offering. And those that are going through those individual soul experience transitional movements can open up and just say, I'm going to be this unconditional, vessel of love. How can we release what definitions, what lower mind logical, we've had these, kind of like a movie review in our head of how things will unfold. And that really, really limits us, as opposed to just working the energy. If I come through and just be unconditionally loving and say, these are my desires. I'm standing in my power. I'm standing in my essence, be like the race car outside. That's power. I've got this power, but we're also here to open and allow all others to catch up and do what they're meant to do in whatever time frame they're meant to do it in. And we say catch up because that's where our mind was held, because there's so many different energies and different experiences, but that's not it at all. We are all moving through ascension. We are all here to hold the space. We're all here to massage the energies planetarily, collectively, individually, and with all those that we come with, and just work the energy. That allows each soul to have the healing. That allows each soul to have the potentiality to break free from what the mind has been thinking needs to be held back or protected or kept at bay. And that's what I've been moving through, the past couple of years, is really understanding energy at a subtle level, how that subtle level co-creates when you're in that fear space, how that subtle level can also limit what outcome for everybody, and to be that unconditionally loving vessel through which all of your power and all of your light is not only standing in your empowerment, standing in your truth, allowing your fields to open up for your creative excitements, but also to hold the space and just massage the energy for all others and not have any specific outcome in your mind and your lower mind on how it should look. And that's the hard part. That's the hard part, that we just release that ego and release that control, because that control is all about fearing the outcome. But what if it's 10 times better than you thought it would be? What if you moving on this beautiful open experience allowed all others to follow their soul's journey far beyond the potential that was even dreamed of when they came into this planet? And that's what I've been sensing. At the soul level, I'm sensing that because of where we are at collectively, and because of all of the help, and because of how much we've healed and how much we've released karmically, that we have so much potential that's even beyond what each of our souls thought when we were born. I mean, it's gone far beyond. And that's what's really exciting. But I absolutely felt the difference vibrationally. I felt the relief. I would it's just like 1,000 pounds got lifted from my chest of all of the weight and the burdens that I had carried, because I knew that there was going to be changes and shifts that I would have to, move with. And that may or may not encompass and carry with what I had always known. And those are huge transitional shifts that we have to release. And the only way that I can feel it is the butterfly breaking free from the cocoon, because they've been limitations. And this is where that whole rebirth transformation comes from, is because we're truly allowing ourselves to live as the soul and break free, work the energy. And I say work, again, when we refer it back to just allowing that divine source to live through you and see those changes and those healings occur vibrationally and shift the unconditional potentiality of what you thought. And those, you might get a phone call saying, hey, I've got a house that's for rent for 6 months out of the year, and it's right next to a private, art school or whatever. Those problems will get solved. I've seen it happen. And this is where I've always had the divine blessing, so blessed. And, part of those gifts was because it's my passion and my excitement to express how source creators in all things, how elegant, how beautiful things are when we just allow it, when we flow from that space and just allow the energy to work itself. Offering that unconditional, unlimited source energy to shift what we've held dimensional definitions on, because we're all moving at different dimensional shifts. Everyone's going along for the ride for ascension. And if we offer our highest unconditional potential in all moments of interaction and engagement, then we're offering those unconditional potentialities of source creator. That's evolution. It was just mind-boggling because I felt it. I felt it at a multidimensional level. And what I'm moving through, what has been a challenge, is to feel my soul self, because it gets more expanded as you are allowing and flowing into this beautiful essence of your ascension self, your soul self, because there's so much going on. And what the ego mind does, and I'll probably do a separate video on this, of just understanding and releasing the ego, and just that my teams have said, succumb to your sacredness. That will guide you. Because the ego mind tries to say, okay, well, there's so much going on here. It's just kind of like this stadium and this auditorium, and there's all you in it, various aspects of you, dimensional frequencies, forms, celestial angels, teams. And that's how it feels. There's just so much going on vibrationally, and I can feel a lot of it, and as you ascend, you can feel even more of it. But the focus, and the teams have shown me, is just center within, surrender to your sacredness, and allow. And then when you feel excited to add, to express, to explore, that will come forward, trust it. But the ego mind in many of these experiences that I've been moving through as I'm opening up to my soul self is that, okay, the ego says, okay, well, you go over there, you help me do this, you help heal that person over there. And I was directing and instructing, and my teams are just like, we know what we're doing. And I was like, oh, okay, sit back, enjoy the ride. It's mind boggling what we're moving through. I can feel it at so many levels, and it's so divine, and it's so amazing. And that's why my mother, father, and my teams, source creator and the infinite is just saying, just enjoy the ride, just allow, open up and allow, because you'll see things unfold miraculously and magically if you just let it go. The ego does not have to manage and start telling people what to do and where to go. It was amazing. So the new concept now, as we've showed that 5D loop, and this is where, kind of I get these ideas, and, I put them out. Like when we made this 5D loop, they gave me they always give me visions and things like that. But now I'm looking back at it now, they give me things in time, divine timing. Because that 5D loop is exactly what I was experiencing and working the energy. And how it allowed me to let go was because I was thinking 3D, 4D, 5D, and how I was able to see and experience various people moving through their experiences at varying dimensional frequencies. And I was limiting the outcome based on the dimensional frequency that I was feeling. And that's just the mind, right? The ego mind thinks it's putting things into boxes because that's how we've compartmentalized our experience. There was no judgment on it, or quantitative or qualitatively at all. That's just the ego mind. The ego mind compartmentalizes, and it delineates because that's what it's had to do, and that's what it's been programmed to do. So I'm offering that because release yourself in all of those things that doesn't have to take place. You surrender all that you are to this heart space. Surrender into it and just work the energy. Allow the energy to move and shift and transform, transmute miraculously, so that you're opening up into the highest potential, and so too are all others. Because we're not the puppeteers, telling people what to do and where to go at all. That's not the intention at all. We're open vessels and just allowing the energy to be massaged into everything, And as I work with the energy fields, I can get excited, and I can just, sparkle my little, my uniqueness into it. And I can feel that vibration come back to me. So that's what we want. We want to allow all that source is to live through us unconditionally, without defense, without combativeness, without protection, and allow everything that's coming back to be that unconditional. So if you understand and standing in your power, standing in your strength, then you absolutely know what's coming back to you. So you don't necessarily have to put up those blocks. But it takes practice, because again, the mind will delineate, the mind will judge, the mind will put into boxes, the mind will compartmentalize. That's what it's done for eons. But we're reprogramming the mind, and I can feel when my teams are working on me, when they do those big DNA shifts that I've recently gone through, I can feel things going on in my brain, because they're upgrading everything in our brain to be 5D, where we're letting go of that compartmentalization task and ordering, limiting our outcome. So stepping outside the box and just saying, I'm just going to open and massage the energy. It's probably more than 5D, it's infinite. Because it's source creator, I can feel it. It's moving us into an experience that will be more like 5D, where we'll have access to all unconditional love and be able to process and integrate it. And I say that because ascension allows us to prepare for that. That's why that daily self-care, again, is so important, because it allows your heart chakras and all of your chakras to open and prepare for that unconditional love and reunion with source as your higher self. That's what that 5D experience will be. We will be harmonized with our higher self. And it's a profound difference than what we've been used to. in every way, as I've just explained, like one perspective on how the mind limits, the lower mind limits. It compartmentalizes, it boxes, it constrains, it rejects, you know. And so this living as the higher self is so different. The energy, work the energy. And I say work in the most loving, elegant, benevolent, you know, delicate, you know, it's just this, you know, it's a dance. It's an absolute dance of elegance, and it's beyond the words that I have. As you can tell, I've been having trouble with words. Wow. You know, it's a dance. It absolutely is. And it will transform and transmute everything. And then you'll wake up the next day and what the, wow, are you kidding me? You know, like totally new timeline, totally, you know, without question. It's all cleared, all cleared. You know, so I mean, practice with it. You know, see how your attunements will shift. Just open and just say, I'm an open vessel. I'm working the energy. I'm on with God. God's with me. Hi, God. We're doing this together. Highest and best. You know, because it's, you know, who am I to say what anybody's, you know, soul's journey and outcome is going to be, or any one of us? It's not. We're just opening into our highest potential. Standing within our truth again, always stand in your truth of what your soul song is. Own your light, own your voice, own your excitements and your expression, your experience and your exploration of who you are as source. That's why each of us are here. But that's that shift from 3D to 4D to 5D. That 4D is healing all those emotional wounds, you know. And then we get to that 5D where there's so much opening up creatively that we don't have words and ideas or potentiality of what those templates look like. We do if we are limiting them in our perspective, you know. And so that's my intention today, was open up and just allow the energy to be massaged, work the energy, you know, offer your soul and your higher self and source, just live through me and let me massage the energy in this experience for the highest and for the best. Not for what I think should occur, not for what I think will happen, as I'm speaking my truth and I'm speaking my intention, so that I'm placing, you know, those boundaries and standards for what I choose to experience. That's standing in your own truth, that you're having your soul's back, you're honoring your voice, and then you're allowing that energy to be massaged and transmute any dissonance and discordance for the highest and for the best. And then, you know, as I was shown and as I was feeling that things were being, you know, obviously, because we can't see and feel those things, but I was shown and I could see how things were changing and shifting in my doing that. And I felt this huge release of pressure just lift off me, because my mind, logical mind, thought I had to figure it all out, or I wanted it to, because that was that fear program again. So break free. You know, what our definitions and the things that we thought and the things that are, you know, as our whole society is moving through these shifts, allow the openness and the honor and the respect and the reverence for what we've gone through to be this massaging of new that's meant to take place, so that we open into the freedom and the liberation that we've all come here to experience and explore and express as the divine soul beings that we are. Because ultimately, and I'll end on this profound statement that ties it all in together. In moving through what I've been moving through recently, it's allowed me to come to a greater appreciation, a greater level of honor and gratitude for the human experience, and how we can now really take excitement and exuberation for being human, as we're feeling source creator live through us, and we truly feel ourselves as the creator through our excitements, through our expression and our joys to be who we are, you know, and feel that pride and feel that joy. Wow, we're in this new energy. We are in this new space through which we're now feeling our value system change. We're not limiting ourselves or anyone. We're allowing the energy to work it out. We trust source unconditionally. Releasing those fears that your soul knows what your soul is doing. You're one with source. Just open and allow the energies to transmute even the most challenging experiences, even from eons of dissonance and discordance, you know, And that's what I felt. I felt those eons of discordance. Just be lifted. Trust. You know, we stand in your truth, own who you are, be that pillar of assertive knowing that you are with Source. I'm the vessel that Source lives through, and I'm going to work and massage the energy. Not directing it through intention or projecting anything, having it come out a certain way, because then that's fear and ego. But I'm just going to allow this beautiful, elegant movement of love, because that's what Source is. It's unconditional love, and it's so soft and gentle and beautiful. It's this divine, elegant system. So that people are brought together, experiences are brought together, transitions and healings are brought together. And this is what people will feel. You know, we're going to do probably many more on this, because this is what I'm seeing and I'm sensing. Again, that future part of me is showing me, coming back in time so I can teach and offer. And this is what they told me years ago. They said, you'll be able to go in and out of timelines. So I'm experiencing it right now. So, but I feel still very physical. But there will be a part where, you know, they're showing me right now on another timeline. So they're getting me used to this. They're getting me used to moving back and forth in timelines. But what was I saying? Where was I going with that? You see that this is why I'm practicing getting used to being in, having the view of many different things going on at once, because I get distracted. I'm still over there in that other timeline. Got to come back to self, center within. So what we're going to be experiencing is this availability to be these open, fluid conduits. That's it, you know. And our creative excitement and our joys from all of our chakras and all these upgrades and all these expansive things that are moving through our entire multidimensional systems, upgrading us in every way. Our bodies are being upgraded, the brain, how the brain works and moves information, the synapses, how the brain perceives information through the eyes. And all of these things that we're experiencing are being upgraded and stretched out. And, you know, this is why our sleeps at night are so profound. That we're opening into these potentialities of really flow and allowance. And it's nothing that we've ever experienced before. And I'm bringing this forward so that we can step outside of the box of these huge collective transitions that are now slowly opening up. People are going back to business, and slowly things are returning, if you will, to a new normal. But this new normal is not really, you know, normal. It's not if we're allowing it to be. This is the miraculousness of, you know, massaging the energy as Source does. You open an allowance and you're honoring Source to say, these are the healings that I need. I'm opening, I'm allowing, and I absolutely expect this healing to occur through my allowance, because I can't do any more. You know, and you're giving your team's permission and heaven's permission to just massage the energy. Because it's when we've held such resistance to what was, because that's what the lower mind and ego has always been used to. You know, and I was showing myself that that future part of me was just saying, open and be that vessel of flow. That's it. Still stand in your power, because that's what you've come back to do. You've come back to stand in your power and claim your voice, claim your truth, because that's what needed to heal on that lineage for you as a divine feminine. So this is how we can go back and forth in timelines and heal what needs to be healed in our higher wisdom ways. You know, once I went through that experience, and they were showing me, like they gave me this drawing a couple of months ago, but I needed that drawing so that now I can come back and say, okay, this is where I'm saying that in this now moment, there's so much going on all these other timelines, that if you're opening the flow and just trusting, you're going to get what you need, and these pieces will all fit together. That's why I had this back then and work with it for a couple of months, because right now I'm coming back in a previous moment timeline so that I can allow this greater energy to be massaged, so I don't have to keep carrying that karmic energy. I can heal it, let it go, and step out of the box and say, well, hey, we've got these new templates. Why don't we just work the energy? You know, let go of what we think it has to look like, because this new normal is totally not really normal at all. Taking it way out there. But that's what I like to do. And so this is just amazing. I'm probably going to do more videos about this as I get to understand it more. But I just wanted to pull one of my favorite decks. I take this deck with me when I do my sacred travels. And oh, do I have the book? Here it is. I've got so much here. This weekend is my learning weekend. This is the deck, the Mayan Oracle, Light Language. Awesome deck. So when I do my sacred travel, and when I'm going through these really big transition shifts, I use these cards. So when I'm changing timelines and I'm shifting alchemically and I can feel it, everything in my body is changing. I use this deck because it allows me to connect threads of information. I'm showing myself right now of, this is so wild, of back and forth, but it's a new now moment. So the stuff that I've taught over the years about the spiral of time not being linear at all, it's now, past, present, future. Now I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing myself in those different moments. So wow. So I'm really excited. So exciting, everybody. So be gentle with yourselves. Let go of the definitions and releasing your worry. If you're going through big transitions and you know that your soul is calling, your higher self is calling for you to change relationships, to let go of worry, to let go of fear, let go of limitations, let go of relationships. Whatever it is that you're struggling with, you're moving through that seems to be insurmountable or unmovable. Open into the open vessel of who you are. Absolutely trust that in doing so, you are allowing your higher self and all others to have the highest potential of source living through you, and massaging the energy so that the highest potential can be had for all. And release those burdens that you thought you had to figure out, manage, or control and place in boxes, because you don't. Okay, let's see what card comes out for everybody. So this is what should we call this? Let's call it the elegant quantum dance. So, okay, this is the intention, the elegant quantum dance, Spirit. The elegant quantum dance. What energies, vibrations do we have for what we've just moved through vibrationally, and we're being offered. This is going to be a very special summer. Every chance that you get, we're on a new moon right now. So take this new moon energy and set those new intentions to allow massaged flow, that 5D loop, if you will. It's the same thing, just called different things, and I felt it in a different way. Just allow that 5D infinite source energy to massage something new miraculously for you, whether it's an intimate relationship experience that you need healing in, whether it's your intimacy within yourself, because again, inner, outer, micro, macro, and releasing the definitions that you have about anything that's held you back in fear, in definition and subjugation. And just opening to the infinite source flow, in anything, and allow that, that heavenly healing to take place. Okay, let's pull. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? New myth. And if we go sideways, this is what I was talking about. All realities are now. So this timeline, this timeline, this timeline, that timeline, that experience, this is what I'm now able to see. I can feel it. And why I'm coming back and forth and doing, zipping in and out of timelines vibrationally. And my body feels as if I'm here, but because I'm living as my soul and I'm opening up as my soul is actually in the various bodies of me, coming back and doing what I need to do. For my soul's experience, my soul's excitement. I'm here to create in my soul's excitement. But we're creating the new myth. And this new myth is saying that in this now moment, I choose to open and be this vessel so that all can have the highest potentiality and have a new myth created. And it's not going to be as we delineated or as we defined and as we thought. We're going to open up and allow this new myth to unfold. Because we're source creator, we want the highest potential. We want this most expansive light codes. Remember, source is light language. Light language is the flowing of that love. Light is love. And so if we're opening up with that intention, then that's that letting go and saying, wow, I don't even have words for what's going on because we've never been here before, and that's okay. So this new myth is about you being that creative catalyst in allowance of saying there's new things going on here. Why limit ourselves? This going back to normal is not going to be normal at all if we so choose. And I choose to stretch those boundaries and break those boundaries. I know that's how I allow those miracles to live through me, because to see beyond, I'm able to feel those miracles. I'm able to see potentialities, not necessarily the result of potentiality, but just to see how pushed out, and that's that evolutionary excitement. Wow. Who would have thought, right? You know, um, and you absolutely feel different. And this is this new myth. Like yesterday's myth is not today's new myth. And even today and yesterday are all one now. That's how it feels. It's a brand new experience. I'm just going to open and massage the energy. Just let it go. All those things I thought I had to fix and heal, just massage and open. It's all being worked out. Relax. You just get on with, being in love with you, surrendering to your sacredness, and have fun creating. And how we've made it so, the mind, the lower mind, because of the generations and eons of fear and experiences that we've had, has taught us. So that's my definition of it. I'll read from the book. What was it? New myth. I got to learn to ground. I got to get better, at grounding. I'm having kind of fun though, Oh, there's one for you. So how y'all doing? Y'all doing good? Dear friends. So it's your personal myth and the meta myth. So your personal individual myth on how it fits into the ever-growing expansiveness of the all. This is what we were talking about, moving back and forth in time, is just allowing that massaging of energy to transmute what you've come back for, to allow healing. That's really what it is. Not you to fix it, but to allow it to be healed. You don't want to carry that karma energy because of fear holding you in that certain perspective of how you thought it had to go. Entering into your greater purpose of the bigger story. And so this is what I've been sensing and feeling, is what so many transitions are going to be moving through. What's your bigger story now? Because how we played back in those experiences were really small, because we were thinking because of the fear and subjugation and social definitions and social norms, we've allowed ourselves to feel so limited in how we move about our expression of the soul. And that's okay. That's really okay. There's no judgment at all. But what I've been sensing and why I've experienced what I did is to bring it forward and experience and express this for everyone else, for those who so desire, that feel intrigued and attracted to it, that you'll be feeling these soul shifts into these new myths of the grander story of you, your soul, that new version of you that's come forward. I don't know where the card is now, but that new version of you is now stepped up into greater capacity to carry greater light, that carry greater love. So that new spiral of you is now expanding, if you will. So you are the myth, that's essentially what I was getting at. And it's a new octave of experience. It's your path of innocence of who you are, is just allowance, because innocence is totally allowing. When you're a kid, you're innocent. You're pure and excited and curious, is what we're all returning to, the sacred child that we've talked about for years now. Experiencing and healing the sacred family is being that sacred child and that innocence, because you're trusting and just allowing source to live through you, massaging the energies as the child does, and this planet becomes a beautiful collective of golden octaves. We're not holding it in that ego mind that says, well, it's got to fit into these structures and these norms that we've carried for eons. For that healing to be that for the all, so that expansive energy goes out. And that we've each come with a purpose, and that purpose takes us on these, as we've talked about before, preparing yourself for that 5D experience, because it's not what it used to be, because it was held behind so much fear. But that pure unconditional love of that 5D experience is profound and moving. And why we just break free. I'm releasing these definitions, I'm releasing the subjugations, I'm releasing what I thought the family thing had to look like. It's different now. What I thought jobs and career had to look like, it's different now. So how can we just work the energy and just be, this new myth, be this new expansive experience of godliness, and allow all timelines to be healed? That's profound. It's awesome. Anyways, thank you for sharing with us, and thank you for connecting and entangling with us, and open and allow your godliness to flow. Stand in your power, honor who you are as a soul, and experience, express, and explore all that you are as a divine being of the holy light and the holy experience of exaltation of being human. Exalt yourself today. Who are you? And be proud of who you are in the allowance of who you are as pure light and pure love in human form. Let's begin to have fun as humans. Let's begin to explore who we are as divine infinite beings, and creating greater light and greater profundity for who we are as eminence from the heavens. So thank you, dear lighted ones. Namaste.